Get to the chopper now! Hey guys, it's awesome that you're tuning in, because we're going to be doing a little bit of an RC again. Man, I love myself RC cars, and in the local shops over here I find these freaking things everywhere. But now we do have some really cool ones, and this time we're going to be having some really fancy light up features, and this thing was actually a lot of fun. I really regret that I didn't pick up 2 or maybe 3 of them, so we can just racing together with some other friends, because this thing has some really cool things to it. I always wonder, where will these things pop up? Will they be from AliExpress, or can you find them on Amazon, or maybe some local charity shop second hand? These RC cars are actually everywhere. However, when you're going to be comparing them with the ones from AliExpress, they will actually use some old school batteries. Not rechargeable ones. Some of them do actually have the option to use them because they're so small, but I would not really recommend using them. I'm using high quality batteries for maximum power and maximum fun. It seems to be this is the importer with the information. There are actually 3 different versions. Unfortunate, this is in black and white paper, so we cannot really see the differences, but there were 3 different colors. So I only picked up this one because I thought it looked pretty cool in the thumbnail, but also the green, I do like it with all of the brands. With these cheaper cars, we're actually going to be having the same kind of configuration of the controls. However, where we do have like a certain price point where we don't have the antenna, like the really old school communication. These are like very nice. They are, no, they're not analog switches, they're like micro switched. So that is one thing, and that is quite unfortunate. So, but let's open up the battery compartment. The overall quality of the controller is just cheap, like it always is, like super basic mold. Maybe there's even one factory in China that actually make them. But let's put in the batteries and let's have some fun. So I'm going to be using the A4s. They're actually from the Action Store. I would recommend to actually check out what kind of batteries you can use. I don't know if Amazon or some other stores have their own batteries, but there are a lot of differences between them. And if you're going to be using the ones that are not like a low milliamps or don't have a lot of power on the inside, meaning that we don't have the same acceleration, fun. And with this particular car, this is going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, in particular, when it comes to the overall build quality, it seems to be that this thing is quite, let's say, nice actually. Like I see the way, the quality of the rims, of course made out of plastic, but the details on the tires, they were using these very nice tires. They're kind of this sticky rubber, when I say like really sticky, but like this soft tire. So we do have like maximum grip. You can adjust the front if you have a little bit of a misalignment with the wheels. But it's as basic as it can be. Spoiler, there was nothing much actually to remove. You cannot like clip it off and replace the top cover. But I think this thing can crash actually. You can see this front bumper is made out of plastic, and it comes complete with this overall shell. I think the overall construction is quite durable. So I think that's going to be okay. Man, opening up the compartment is going to be difficult. We're only going to be needing 4 batteries. Okay, so that is going to be not a problem. And for the car itself, I'm going to be using Panasonic. So Panasonic is another brand that I have very nice overall positive experiences with, and the overall price is quite good. How much milliamp they have, I don't know exactly. There was not information on the website or on the packaging itself. But believe me, this Panasonic battery, the gold ones, are pretty good, particularly the gold ones. So communication, how does it go? So if you're going to be turning on the remote, it starts flashing, then we're going to be turning on the remote car. And then if everything goes, the LED starts actually just turning into red, not flashing. And then we can actually steer, and whoa. So the unfortunate to have micro switch, but I can tell you that, haha, look at this. So the overall speed itself, of course I'm using this very smooth surface of a desk, so we can just fairly easy accelerate, steer. There's not a lot of input delay, so let's use it on a bigger overall place. And I can tell you this is really nice. So the speed itself, it's too fast actually to just use it on your desk. So combined with the light up feature, this looks pretty cool. And if it's going to be a little bit darker than normal, this is going to be something, it's going to be easy to drive around in the dark. And yeah, the feature I have personally never seen in these, let's say, low budget or affordable RC solutions. Today we're not going to be trying to go into the grass or let's say gravel We just wanted to see how fast this thing is, and I can tell you, man, this thing has some really cool speed to it. It's not like the fastest car, but you know, this is just fast enough to have like this very tiny track and just have some fun. And that is what we're going to be doing, so let's grab ourselves the car, and let's make ourselves a track, and let's mess around with it. So with the racing tracks, you know, you can do all kinds of fun things, and that is one thing I normally don't really do. Just like drive around, let's do a little bit of a practice run over here. And I can tell you that the sharp cornering of this thing is a lot of fun. And I must say that would even be better if they're using not like those micro switch remotes, so we have like a little bit more, let's say, overall control of the car. But so far this is a micro switch of the remote. I must say that I'm quite surprised. Okay, so I bashed into that thing. Great, just check to see if this thing still survives, and it seems to be. So I must say that I've been playing around with all kinds of RC cars, but most of them were fun for inside, let's say in your house, and just mess around. But this one, oh crap, wait, let's try that. See, this is exactly what I mean. You know, I wanted to drive freaking, let's say, around it, but it's quite difficult. Okay, so let's make a quick track. Let's do going a little bit more advanced under the chair. And in this way, we're just going to be just driving around and have a little bit of a fun. You know, we can do some really cool things this way. And that's exactly why I said, like, I needed to actually have multiple cars. Like 2, 3 or 4 of them and just drive around, you know, like making track and just have some old school RC fun. Okay, so that was a blast to the past with some really cool old school RC racing. So I personally picked it up for not a lot of money. I think it's like 15, 20 bucks. I think it's not a lot of money at all. And it's absolutely cool to see like how much cool stuff they can make for such a small amount of money. The light up feature, and normally I don't really care about those things, but the light up feature of this car is absolutely awesome. It will drain the car batteries a little bit faster, of course, than normal. You cannot shut it off so far, I know. So the remote is kind of basic micro switch like we have seen many times before, but it doesn't really spoil the fun because this thing is quite fast and the overall input delay is not really noticeable at all. So overall, this is a fun, and I'm just going to be picking up a couple of more if I can find in the future. Thank you all for watching, and it will be great to see you in the next RC World Racing.